National Audubon Society is our nation's oldest conservation organization, and we're focused particularly on protecting birds and natural habitat. So right now, one of the key conservation issues that's affecting birds is birds colliding during migration, in particular with glass. When a bird is just moving around in its environment, say a bird is born, it doesn't have any experience and it has to use instincts. And when a bird gets out of the natural world with it just, no human structures, it continues to use its brain in the same way that it does in the natural world. So migratory birds passing through a city for the first time are going to look at the built environment and see ways that they can use it to their advantage. So these new buildings with all this glass on them pose real problems for these birds. They're seeing reflections of vegetation in the glass, and sometimes the glass is transparent. There are no reflections, but they can see things on the inside of the building and they try to fly through the glass.
So the bird's either getting an image of something that's not there, which is a tree or the sky, or I guess it's reading it's that there's nothing there.
So we do have information that has been collected in a number of cities in Eastern North America for many years, Toronto, New York, Chicago, and we thought we knew that Philadelphia had a problem, we thought that we needed to start a formal study here to get more information on the number of birds that are actually colliding with buildings in Philadelphia.
It's always been the responsibility of the grounds department to deal with dead wildlife on campus. And I was sort of struck by the types of birds we were finding, not the sort of thing you'd normally expect to see in the city. And it was pretty clear that these were from window strikes, and they were sort of piling up along the base of the buildings. And it was a substantial enough number that I thought maybe I should try to figure out how big of a problem this is, first of all, and if the numbers are compelling enough, maybe we can take some steps to try to mitigate the problem on these particular buildings.
The collision issue was varying across the city, so in order to compare with our Center City area, we were fortunate and found Temple. We had been asking people to give us information on where they were finding dead birds around the city, and the one place that we got more people talking about was Temple University. And then I got in touch with Glenn, and I found that Glenn had already been interested in this for a number of years, and that he had been, through his work as in the grounds department, had been seeing dead birds and collecting information on them at buildings. So he shared the data that he had collected already on it, and that helped the work that we initiated in 2009 go a lot more smoothly, because we knew more about where birds were colliding already and on campus, and then we were able to put together a scheme for where we wanted to monitor, and it worked out very well. Well, when we monitored in 2009, the spring, we were able to get a number of students that were interested in helping us on this project to actually do the monitoring.
I am Haley Gillis. I am a Temple University biology undergrad. The most high collision areas that we're aware of right now are the tech center, because the glass is so reflective and it reflects the vegetation and the birds think that's a habitat.
Tech center, Alter being examples of two with large surfaces of glass that are just curtain wall, solid sheet of glass.
A surprisingly high collision area is Paley. Glenn knows that it's because there's an overhang, and maybe that's a safe protected area for the birds, I think.
There are those types of birds that just love to you'll see them fly across the lawn and duck up in under a porch to sit on the rafters, that sort of thing. They like to, duck up in underneath shelter. And paley is a type of building where there's lots of ledges and overhangs and glass in underneath them. So the birds duck in, and they perceive that they're going into sort of a hollow area, and they never see the glass coming up at them. And then the final one would be the student center, which is a little bit of a mix of the two. There's some sort of large surfaces, like on the second phase of SAC and the original portion of the SAC building right on the corner. There's more of those sort of pockets and overhangs, and so you have the birds, I think, trying to duck up in under things.
As long as we have people that are aware of the issue, I think their imaginations are going to run wild, and anything that can be investigated will be investigated, and hopefully we'll come up with a range of different types of solutions that can be used.
My goal was to try to test different window films on the Bury windows. What we did originally last semester was check Bury specifically for bird collisions, because that was suspected as a high collision area. So we got some control data, and then I put up window film this semester. I put it up right before the fall semester started. What I did was cut up this kind of white opaque window film into squares. I think they're 4 by 4 inches, and I put them up 8 inches apart in a kind of just a tiled look, just to see if that would deter the birds from hitting the windows. So that way we kind of have some data from 2 different semesters, 2 different migration seasons, and see if that window film is helping the birds to see the windows. It definitely worked. After this last semester, you can definitely make a difference on the number of birds are hitting that one area.
I am professor of graphic and interactive design and the area head of the graphic and interactive design program at Tyler. Well, what we're calling the project is Bird's Eye View, and we are developing designs for films that will be used in windows to prevent birds from striking the windows. The idea being that birds really can't see that there are windows there, and that as long as there's some kind of a linear pattern in the window, that will prevent a bird from trying to enter a building. Well, the parameters for the students were that they could create a design that used black and white line and shape in any way, and the limitation is that the opening space in between the vertical openings could not exceed 1 inch. And you can see just from these 2 examples how varied the approach to these parameters could be. The briefing that I had was that a bird would attempt to fly through anything that was greater than 1 inch vertically. The horizontal measure was pretty much limitless. And it's great for graphic designers because I think what really attracted me to this problem from a graphic design standpoint is that it uses the most fundamental tools of design as a vehicle for expressing a very simple idea. Our goal is primarily to raise awareness. And if any of these designs were ever selected to be produced, that would be great. But I think the main purpose of our project is to create work that does draw more attention to the problem, and hopefully will get people interested in trying to solve it.
It's also a wonderful place to work because there's so many people involved in Temple's faculty and so many students that are really very interested in this issue and in doing something about it. So we're very happy to be working here at Temple, and we hope to be able to come up with some real answers to this problem.
Rather than being ashamed of the problem. You know, you feel proud to be associated with an institution that, you know, has people that have a little bit of time and work together, you know, to devote to trying to understand the problem more, hopefully with the end goal of trying to find some kind of solutions. But everything we do, even if it's something that didn't work, it's one more thing you can check off the list. You know, it's one more way of saying we tried that and that didn't work. And, you know, sometimes that's as valuable as anything in trying to figure out which direction to go or not go. So.